Hey up troops, welcome back to the Litanah army. I'm Lit and this is another Fortnite Save the World PvE guide. Now there's tons of guides out there, but a lot of people tend to struggle with what they're doing or what to do next, and I want to give you like a really detailed and efficient way to actually level your characters up. Do you know, it's quite a big game, there's loads of menus, there's lots to take into account with like survivors and things like that. So what I actually want to do is give you a full comprehensive guide on what you should be doing. And if you watch this guide in detail, you should be quite comfortable then going through the game at the lower levels and actually working your way up to the top. Now I'll do a more advanced guide in the future, but for now this one should serve you with everything that you need and make it so that your leveling is actually not just good but efficient as well. So stay tuned guys, and let's see what we can do, and welcome to Fortnite. Okay, so tip number one is to unlock as many zones as fast as possible. So basically rush through the main mission quest lines. The more missions that you do, you know, the more likely you are to get the good rewards. So that's things like rain, survivor XP, which we talked about in another video, and your mats for evolving your characters, evolving your heroes, evolving your weapons, evolving your traps. And it's massively important. If you go into this section here, you just click play. The main quest line will be up on there, so just work your way through those. The only time you shouldn't be doing those if you're looking for specific materials, so it might be a rare materials like silver ore or something like that to build up a weapon schematic, or it might be that you're playing with friends and you're helping a friend out, then yeah, then go and do something else. You know, essentially obviously the game's to have fun. You don't want to be telling your friends you can't play because you've got to get through these. However, if you're not sure what to do, or if you're not sure what to do next, then what you want to be doing is working through the quest line, because opening up the areas and getting these huge rewards is massively important. If you look down the right hand side there, this particular mission that I've got gives me 20,000 survivor XP. You're not going to get that in any other quest line, like I said, other than the main quest. So make sure that you prioritize these and make sure you work through them. Okay, so our second tip then, and tip number two, is to make sure that you're focusing all your survivors into offense and tech early on. And this will make it easier for you to complete missions that are above your power level. And it also makes you less useless when you're in zones that are a higher level power level than what you are. So the higher zones will also have a lot greater rewards, and therefore they're usually a better use of your time, because these missions will not take any longer than what your original ones were. They'll end just as quickly, but you will get the much stronger mats. So when you're looking at your survivors, make sure that you're looking at power level ones and you're looking at tech ones as well. And I will explain this in a little bit more detail a little bit further down the line in this guide. So tip number three then is to make sure that if you're not doing the main quest lines and you do need to pick a mission, the best missions for you are usually the survivor missions. It's really important to build squads up. If you've not seen my collection guide, make sure you go and check that out, because what that shows you is how important the squads are, and the survivor missions are what are going to give your survivors more experience and get you better things. So the survivor missions usually give you survivor XP. You know, you're looking for missions that give you rain, you know, drops of rain, or any sort of evolution mats and things like that. They usually take 15 to 20 minutes maximum. You know, you don't tend to go much over that. And if you do find a mission that's just got one reward on, it's worth noting that the one reward is usually going to be like up to 3 times more. So if you find a one that's got 2 rewards in there, you'll tend to find it's 1.5 more. And if it's got 3 rewards on, then that'll just be the standard. If it's just got 1 reward in there though, so it's just got survivor XP, 9 times out of 10 you will find that you get 3 times more survivor XP, so they're the ones to go for. If you do see one that's just got the survivor XP on there, make sure you pick it up. I would probably come off the quest line for something like that, because it's a lot of reward, if you like, to lose, even for carrying on. It can even compete with that, you know, and you can check these. You just go into the actual menu and you can look at what each one's got in there. Okay then, so tip number 4 is to put all your survivor XP and mats into your legendary survivors. Now prioritize you know, your followers over leads. Don't put it into your leads so much. Legendary leads can be replaced by mythics or other legendary leads where you're more fitting personality later on, but your legendary survivors never become obsolete. Unless you're filthy rich or you're putting a lot of money into the game, your legendary followers are always going to be in there right up to the end of the game. So there's, I mean, you can put a few into epics maybe, but even epics become obsolete, but the legendary survivors never ever do. Like I said, unless you're plowing either a ridiculous amount of time into the game or you've actually just putting money into the game. Now, place all your legendary or your highest level survivors into the offense and tech trees, and what this will do, it'll just make sure that your things die faster when you're out there, because you'll be doing a lot more damage when you're in the missions, and you survive a lot longer, missions become easier, and basically it's just a much more efficient way to progress. Now, if you do this, it'll take you a while, to get all your legendary survivors to level 40, so it's worth starting as early as you can. I mean, you can see on this playthrough, I didn't really know that until later on. Someone told me on Reddit, and it's absolutely true. I can already feel the difference when I'm in the game. And what you'll find is, training manuals, survivor XP, evolution mats, they're a huge grind. You have to farm a lot and wait, so they're really heavy resources on your time. So what this will do, they'll take a while to build up, but this will actually make it so that you're not going to waste a lot of time towards the end of the mission. So when you get in the game and you're like maxed out, this is going to make sure that your time's been well spent. Okay, so tip number 5 is probably the most controversial. This one puts itself around traps. Now, what I want to look at here is, I would always say invest really heavily in 1 or 2 great traps. So either epics or preferably legendary, and learn how to use them effectively. It's better to have 1 or 2 really good, amazing traps than it is to have a dozen or 10, 10, 15 inferior traps. So make things like wall dynamos, wall lights, gas traps, and just do a combo on them. Use these early missions to do a combo and see what works best for you. Certain trap choices become far more effective when paired with other types, so learning which ones go well and which setup is a great way for you to save resources, and it means less farming for you, which means your missions get done faster. So once you've got the tier 4 traps, currently the tier 4 traps work just fine at the top level, and it's not even worth evolving to tier 5 due to the rarity of the mats that you need to actually make them. But what you'll have access schematic XP and trap designs, and then when you do that, then you can start to do your traps later on. So you can do that in the end game, almost like a bit of a collection as opposed to getting them. But while you're actually leveling through, just have 2 really cool traps and just get the mats just for those. Okay, and that takes us nicely on to tip number 6, which is to use greens, greys only for survivor transformations. Do not, and I can't stress this enough, do not recycle these. What you want to be doing, this will be your primary source for training manuals. And also, if your armory starts to get a little bit full, you can even start using rare weapons that you're not using. And what you'll find is, because weapon designs are by far the easiest of the 3 evolution mats to acquire while training, and training manuals are needed in the highest amount. I mean, you literally need hundreds, if not thousands. In fact, it's thousands of training manuals to max out your survivors. I think just for the offense and tech alone, you're going to need 1,176, which is pretty massive. So make sure that you're using all these, getting your greys like I'm doing here, put them into transformation. As you can see there, I'm just slotting them into the bits there, and you can see there's a bar along the top, so I need to fill it up to 18. I've used 1 over, I think, there anyway. But then all you do there is hit transform. Just put this batting out of the way. So if we go onto them, you're going to use the weapon one as well. I'm going a bit over there, that's one's a bit of a waste, but if you hit transform there, and then what you'll see is we will get a, wait for it, a green, which is much, much better, as I said, and we can use that much, much better. And it says we also received, I don't know if you saw it down there, 800 survivor XP, which is the actual bit that I did it for. I mean, you really only need 2 to 3 really good weapons and 2 to 3 really good traps, so if you've got those and you can level them up quite high, then, stick with those. And what this is going to do, doing this with your survivors, is actually going to mean that you're maxing out all the way up and you're being most efficient on your way up to the top tier. Now, tip number 7 is we're going to talk about loot llamas, and there's not much to say on these. However, what I would say is don't buy the llamas that are the cheap ones. These ones here, these upgrade llamas, and don't be fooled as well. If you look on the far right there, it says get 11 upgrade llama bundle. So it looks like, you're getting all these llamas for 1,000. Stick to the holiday llamas, the event llamas that you've got in the middle, or anything that gives you like a legendary. It is absolutely worth saving for. If you look on there, this is during the Christmas event, even though we're way past Christmas now. But if you look on the middle one there, you can see you need 1,000 snowflake tickets. You can get all those through questing and through missions, so don't worry about trying to get hold of them or thinking they're going to be tough to get. They're absolutely not. It only costs 1,000 tickets, but they are far more worth it, and you're going to get far more legendaries out of them. If you want to know what you've got, just click on the resource tab, as you can see here in the video above, and you can actually see what currency you've got to use. But don't get the upgrade llamas, just get the event llamas. Okay, so one thing that I get asked quite a lot is how many stars or how much should you level up your heroes and your weapons and your traps and things like that. What I would say is do it based on the area that you're in. So Stonewood, 1 star. If you get into Plankerton, 2 stars. Canny Valley, 3 stars. And then the Twine above, that's when you want your 4 and 5 star items. So as long as you kind of look at the area that you're in, what you'll find is if you try and go too high than that, it's okay having a 3-star item in Stonewood, but you're not going to get the mats you need to build that 3-star item. So 1 star 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, and just do it based on the area that you're in. It's a massive pro tip, and it'll save you a ton of time. So tip number 9 is super simple. It's for hero cards, and it is much simpler. Purple cards and greater get the same number of abilities, though mythics will get new different abilities over their legendary and epic versions. So it's not necessary to wait for the legendary or mythic hero before spending your experience to level and evolve the purple epic hero that you want to use. So I avoid leveling blue heroes past level 20 or the 3rd star, green heroes past level 10 or to the 2nd star, and beyond that the differences between the card quality on heroes is that they'll have higher base stats, you know, based on various experience reports. The base stat advantage, whilst nice, is not 100% necessary. So, final tip for new players, number 10, is make sure that you're actually taking part in the mission. Sometimes, you know, you might be low on materials. You can see in this particular piece of footage, I'm really low on stone on there. But, you know, I've got to help with the mission because otherwise you've got a big chance of failing it. And I've been in several missions where we've failed because 2 people have been off collecting materials or they've been off doing a side quest. Communicate with your friends, you know, so you can see down in the chat at the bottom there, it says go help, say when, and you know, you've got emotes that you can use. If you're not comfortable, you know, talking on a mic or anything like that, you can use the emotes just to communicate a little bit better and just to make sure that the quest kind of goes and you all actually get the rewards that you deserve. There's nothing worse in Fortnite than spending 15-20 minutes in a quest only to fail it because somebody's not helped out at all or a couple of people haven't helped out. So make sure you focus on the actual end goal in these missions because it helps everybody. You know, you all get a decent score, and the rewards, especially if you're doing part of the quest line like we talked about, are really, really good. So make sure that you're doing that and make sure that you are actually taking part in the game. So that, guys, is the guide. If it's your first time here on the Litanah Army channel, a huge thank you for dropping by. I hope that you liked the video. If you've got this far, I'm guessing that you are. I don't know how many people get this far into the video, but if you have, you know, make sure that you comment down below and you drop me a like on there. If you think we can do something better or you think that any of the info is wrong on here, you know, don't be salty about it. Let me know in the comments. I'm more than happy to acknowledge that. I often pin the comments that, you know, that correct me and things like that, which is great. But this is quite a detail. I'm basing this purely on my experience and what I've got. And I've got a maxed out account as well. I use this account for my YouTube account. But, you know, I would love to see you guys and get into a discussion on it. We're going to be building up the Discord in the next few weeks because I've got, obviously, Fortnite Save the World room in there. And we're going to put a Sea of Thieves room in there as well because they're the 2 games we're going to be focusing on for the next few weeks at least. So, guys, thank you for joining me. And as I said, I would love to see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.